Welcome, everybody, to the big show. I am Chris. This is Chris, but we call him Hogi.
What's up, everybody?
Chris in disguise. Adam is here. Today, we are going to talk about the 9 reasons service managers fail. It's a great list. We have a great discussion about it. We go a bunch of different directions. But at the end of the day, if you want to be a service manager, you are a service manager, you're gonna walk away with some tools and inspiration. And then we talk about self-driving, which is an interesting subject.
A fun one.
And much, much more coming up right now on Service Drive Revolution. So at the party we had the other day, we had somebody that works on the NVIDIA self-driving car team who we have a text thread going on, but the self-driving thing is interesting in many ways. Like I think about trading my car for a Cybertruck just for that, so I don't have to drive to work. Like, I wish I had a driver. Like, I think every year when I'm sitting down doing my goals, like, what year is it going to be that I have a driver, right? Because you spend so much time here in traffic, you could get a lot done.
Yeah, for sure.
And if I had a Cybertruck, it would drive in a sense. But we were talking about the difference between LiDAR and radar and Tesla and then Mercedes and the other car companies and what they're doing. And it's interesting because we have all these Waymos around LA.
Yeah.
And
Yes, we know about that.
what do you know about that?
Well, due to recent events with Waymo, the drive that should have been, 3 to 5 minutes was probably about 25, 30 minutes.
You rode in a Waymo?
Yeah, I
we
did.
ordered one.
Where were you going?
1010, which
Yeah.
is like a mile from here, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
We should have walked.
So did you purposely pick that?
Waymo? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I would never get in one of those things ever.
Oh,
Ever.
well, so
Ever.
since all of our travels lately
Never. You
with
couldn't pay me to get in one of those.
Hey, well, you know what? It's we're on the daring side these days. Whether it's planes, trains, automobiles, we want to try it all. So we went
That's
from
Adam's motto.
pretty much
Try anything once.
Yes, yeah, right. I mean,
His
we
poor
had
wife.
the Uber trip from hell a few weeks ago,
Yeah,
going
that was
out to
nuts.
Texas. No, that wasn't Texas. That was like Palm Springs. That's for another episode. But this Waymo was interesting just as of last night.
So you call the Waymo on what app?
the Waymo app.
Waymo.
Oh, it's not on Uber?
No, it's
No.
cheaper than
No,
Uber.
it's a Waymo.
Oh,
It's
I don't
its
know.
own. It's its own.
Like I
thing.
said, I would never
Dude,
be caught dead in a Waymo.
Don't say
so-
never, because it was.
Never.
It's the second time. It was
Never.
good.
They're always clean. They're new. Guess how many smelly drivers you have to endure in a Waymo?
0.
There's something to
There's
it.
a winning factor.
It's not a
You
cab in New York City.
Hey, you
Like,
get to
just drive it like
Yeah, well, there's no
Oh, no.
poopery going on.
What
over there,
was
dude.
it? What was your Uber thing in Palm Springs? That to me is a good reason to choose a Waymo. Not that you have Waymo.
Yeah, that was horrible. I don't even know.
I'm not calling what is the lowest level of Uber where they come in a Prius? I'm not doing that.
No, this guy
I'm
came
doing
in like
Uber
a
Black when I
decent
do it.
car, but I think he didn't
Okay,
smell
wait.
like
So
alcohol.
I'm curious because I've never done this, never would, and I'm surprised you guys did. So you downloaded the Waymo app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is there anywhere else that you go that you can do a Waymo?
Only in some major cities, right?
LA, Phoenix, the Bay Area.
So no, not
No,
really.
I
there's
wish
like
they had
4 or
them.
5.
So
metro
you
areas.
have the Waymo app downloaded on your phone,
Yep.
and then you pull it up, and does it look like Uber?
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah.
Okay, so how long was it? So you're calling a Waymo for a 10-minute walk. Well, how
Well,
Oh, you know,
easy with this. Like, the only reason we were calling a car instead of walking is Dylan had his luggage. So we had luggage. We weren't going to walk all the way
okay.
through.
But my question is, how long does it take to get there?
drive-wise,
Oh,
it should only be
The
3
Waymo
to
from
5
when the
minutes.
time you hit,
Yeah.
I want a Waymo. How long does it take to get there?
Oh, it took 2 minutes for the car.
Oh, they're just around.
It's just like an Uber. Yeah.
Yes,
okay. And the thing pulls up, and then the doors are unlocked.
No, you have to, as you walk up to the car, it comes up and shows you where your car is, and you're walking up to it. And when you get to the car, you can hit unlock on the app, and then the door handles come out.
It's cool.
Okay, and then you get in,
open,
and then what happens?
There's a touch screen inside. There's one in the front and one in the back seat, so you can sit wherever you want.
Select the
What are you
music.
doing on the touch screen?
You
select
hit
the
start
music.
ride.
Yep.
Oh, what about tunes? Can you play music?
All the music you want, bud.
Like link your Spotify and stuff, whatever.
So you hook up your
Customizable.
Bluetooth?
Yeah, no, you don't hook up Bluetooth. It's through the app. So like, my Spotify is
your
linked to
phone.
my Waymo. So when I get in, my Spotify comes up on the.
Okay, so then once you're in and you say go, it's assuming that everybody's in the car. The doors are closed.
Yep.
And then it goes.
Yep.
And then,
It starts taking you
I mean,
on your
those
way.
things are always in the way, so it can't be super smooth.
I thought it was
Ours was out of the way.
Well,
I almost killed one in an intersection this morning.
Well,
Yeah,
It seems confused a lot of times.
well, it's trying to figure things out. So the
we're
first,
grading this on a curve, aren't we?
we have to see, but it's only two.
See, it's
two
the
rides.
fact that I said I would never ride in one. Now he's trying to make it sound really cool when I know it's not cool.
It is.
No,
it is. I think it's pretty cool.
sketchy. Scary,
like,
isn't it?
There's all types of viral videos of like,
A dude hiding in the back.
You know the train behind Maestro's, the train area? Like there's a viral video of one turning right down the train tracks right there. There's another one from downtown LA of one like pulling into an active standoff. The cops like have guns drawn on this guy in the car, and it like pulls in the middle and stops, and the person's like trying to duck and get out of the car and crawl.
So
like, it's nuts.
We almost had that moment yesterday, though. We went into some pretty rough areas trying to avoid some traffic for I think the LA game that was going on
Yeah, it
or
was a
whatever.
Lakers game
So
last
like,
night.
So it's going around?
Yeah, and there was a car parked
Does
in
it
the
give
right
you a
lane.
choice or it decides to?
No, it
Oh, it
decides.
decides.
You can't choose a
yeah.
route.
There's
And,
not like safe route. It's not
so
like
there's stacked traffic on the way to the Staples Center, and it's and there's a car parked in the right lane, and it pulls up behind that car, and we just
A parked
sat.
car.
A
parked car. No lights on. Just
and,
sits there.
and just sit, like we're just
What is it
sitting
thinking?
ducks.
It's at a stoplight or something?
After a while, it knew and it started putting on its turn signal and trying to get over.
But then it couldn't
But-
get
You
over.
have to back up?
No, it just kept trying. But like,
But
if-
literally you were there for 20 minutes? Or
it
was
was
it
a- it
5
was a
minutes and
while.
it felt like 20?
5 and it felt like 5 and then we called the support thing.
Oh, you have a support line? Like there's a
Yeah.
phone in there and you can
Well,
go
no,
support?
you
No,
press
just-
the
you
button
just
for
hit it.
to
And
call
then what
support.
happens?
They come on over the.
Is it they or is it AI?
Oh, I don't know.
I think so. They
she was
passed us
real.
off. They
Yeah.
passed us to probably someone overseas, and then we got like the main hub.
What
when they couldn't figure
overseas where?
out. I don't know. Overseas, different dialect,
Yeah, but which one?
international. I don't know. India, maybe.
Okay, so they got the phone bank
I
in
think
India.
the first one may have been AI actually, and then it gave us live support when we were telling it what we
maybe.
needed. But anyway, I'm pretty sure she had something where like in a Tesla on the self-driving, there's like different levels of aggressiveness, right? Like
Let's
there's
come back to the Tesla for a second.
But you can. So I think she like turned it up because as soon as we got a hold of her and she's like, "Yeah, I see you've been waiting. I'm so sorry. Blah blah blah. I'll credit you a ride or whatever." And then like as soon as she started talking, this thing like starts nudging out into traffic.
Oh, it just instantly was like. Beep.
like a regular driver.
Yeah, just
and then
cut
we
it.
were
Do
Do you
off.
think she's taking over with a joystick?
I think it was
No.
like a fly-by-wire
I think she
type
just put it
scenario.
on like a more aggressive setting or something. Like I don't think she was physically.
Yeah, I don't know, but it
And
just
then
kicked it
everything
into
was
gear.
smooth after that?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, we were only
we
two
went
blocks.
we
Did
went away
Did you
that
think
I've
about getting
never-
out at any point?
For sure. That's what I told. That's the first thing I told her. I was like, "Hey, we're getting ready to bail, and I don't know like how to kill this or whatever, but
Are
I'm
the
getting
doors
out."
locked? Are you locked in?
No, you can get out.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But-
You have almost full control as a passenger. You can roll down your windows. You can control the music. It's like your car. You're just not driving it. But the first time we took it, it was awesome. Like no issues. This wasn't that bad. It just was interesting, taking us way out of the normal. Like if we just walk.
But the point is, it's got a ways to go
yeah.
technologically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that happened the other day, which is kind of funny, is we were going to my house. I forget for what. Where were we going to my house? Either way, Missy, my chick, has the new Tesla S. and it has the new chip in it, which is the 4, I think, or something.
Yeah.
And the self-driving chip. And so I suggested that Hogi drive so he could check it out because you were employee number 70 at Tesla or something. And you have a Tesla. What chip's in yours?
It's a 26 model. It's the new.
Oh, you have it. Then why is mine different?
I think the S just has another like level of it. Is
Or the
is her,
plaid.
Yeah, her new S is a plaid, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the plaid. It probably is. I bet the base S doesn't have.
But tell everybody
Mad
what
Max.
got you so excited about what is
So,
what is it called?
The first thing I do when I turn on full self-driving in a Tesla is I go and select. There's different settings. So there's like eco, maybe it's called, regular, and then on mine it's called hurry. And so I always go in there and select hurry, and it's just a lot more. It drives a lot more like a technician or like
Aggressive.
Me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I went into Missy's, there's all of those. There's Hurry, and then there's Mad Max. And I was like, whoa. Like it was like an arcade game, and I unlocked a secret level. I was super excited. So I select Mad
Adam
Max.
was super excited too.
Yeah, he was
I
white
just
knight.
clenched up a little bit. I was like, all right, here we go. Race car.
It was great. It's crazy. And it's funny, it observes traffic laws, but normally somebody merging is supposed to yield to you, but if
Not a
you're a
Mad Max.
normal driver, you there's an open lane, so you take the open lane and you let the person merge. Not Mad Max, man.
It's flawless, man.
It's
That's what it is. It's
his
flawless.
world, and you're living in it.
How many times did you touch
crazy.
the steering wheel between here and my house?
So, I kind of have learned a lot of tricks as I've used it a bunch. And so by just kind of nudging the steering wheel every so often, you keep some of those notifications from coming up, right? Because otherwise you have to, if you're not going to touch the wheel, you have to be just eyes on the road and the camera's watching you and stuff. I had it on the whole way, all the way, pulled straight into your driveway. Missy couldn't believe it when we pulled up. She's like, "Did you do that, or did it just pull into the driveway?" I'm like, "No, that's all it. It pulled."
You just touch it for a little bit of resistance
Right
on
up
the
in the
steering
driveway.
wheel, right? Just to know
Yeah,
that
it
you're still
just
there.
keeps if you're pretty relaxed, the more relaxed you get, the more warnings it's going to give you if it sees you do anything with your eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a trick to that. If it sees steering wheel input, it's more lax on letting you kind of move around.
But I think our relationship with cars is going to change.
For sure.
When I think about getting a Cybertruck and it driving me to work like a driver, and I can do other stuff,
Yeah.
that changes my day. It changes the time I have.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
And I also care less about traffic in a way because when I'm in an Uber, right? If I Uber
You're
to
not
work,
paying attention.
I'm in the back and I don't, they always go the longest way
Oh, yeah.
and they don't know any of the shortcuts. I don't care. I'm in the back doing stuff. It's I'll get there when I get there, right? So it changes your relationship with vehicles in a lot of ways. And I wonder if people will want to personalize their vehicles, and will it be as much of a status thing? Or is it just transportation at that point? I feel like in our minds, it's going to be more just like transportation.
I think so. Yeah. Just getting from point A to point B.
Because it feels more like an Uber or, some sort of, it's just not attached to your identity because you're not driving it.
You don't really it's interesting because when you drive, you have your own driving style, right? But when you put it in kind of an autopilot mode, it's you just have a specific setting and it doesn't matter. It's just getting you from point A to point B, maybe. Because
There will be a time too, I think, where your insurance will be less if you spend more time in letting it drive.
Yeah.
Because it's safer.
Yeah.
I mean, that Waymo doing all that weird stuff, it's still safer than a human, which is funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
For sure. I don't think I don't know about you, but I didn't feel like it was really unsafe until we got some interesting neighborhoods. So maybe blacklist
Yeah, that
some of
wasn't
the
the car.
streets.
That
It was
just-
the neighborhood, not the car.
Yeah.
But did you feel unsafe when the Tesla was? Because I heard you were holding on for dear life.
I'm just waiting
Or
for it
is
to
that
take
story
off.
exaggerated?
It's always exaggerated, just like my driving.
He reacted like any average Cowboys fan to this
Oh,
situation.
man.
It's kind of
Wait, so are you trying to say you weren't going 90 in the snow?
No, I think that was fake news. Again,
I have a video.
You have. I know you can alter videos as well. AI.
Here
I
we
would
go.
know how to do that.
They've got an app
Like
for
I would
that.
spend time to do that. That's funny. That's
funny.
fake news right there. You're creating a conspiracy where there's no conspiracy. This is how it starts.
This is exactly how it starts.
So funny. Okay, let's talk about the 9 reasons service managers fail. You guys ready for this conversation?
Yeah.
So how about we do it this way? I will kind of read it.
Okay.
And then you guys can comment and kind of tell me your thoughts.
Okay.
So 9 reasons service managers fail. The first one is not having the right mindset. And the difference would be seeing yourself as a glorified tech or foreman or advisor versus a leader. Right? It happened to all of us at some point. We got promoted and we were really good when it was just us. Like you were really good when you were the tech and it was your success was determined by your production. And now all of a sudden your success is determined by everybody's production. It's way harder to get everybody else to produce than it was to just do it yourself. Right?
Yeah.
And so understanding that you're a leader and that your role has changed and having a leadership mindset.
Yeah.
Do you think we do a really good job in explaining that, though? I think that in most cases, what I've witnessed is it's like a natural progression of a technician or maybe even a foreman. Hey, if you keep producing, getting to a certain level, we're just going to throw you into management. That's typically what I've seen a lot of. We're just going to that's just the natural progression on how it is at the dealership. And then, here's some metrics or KPIs to make sure that you don't fall off of, and here you go.
Well, I think that's a great question. And the thing that I've observed, and we've talked about it many times, is that service managers, for the most part, don't have a goal beyond that. So the service manager position is the end of their career in their head. They don't see themselves as being a general manager, being an owner. And so if that's the case, human behavior is then you just try to maintain. You just try to play safe. You avoid change. If you have your career pointed at the horizon, like if I'm a service manager, but I want to be a general manager, then I have to learn. I have to grow. I have to understand the business. And I have to understand how my department affects the other departments. If I'm a service manager and I just want to be a service manager, I just got to protect my thing. And that's where you're not a leader anymore. You're at best a manager, like you're saying, but you don't really try to do anything above average. Like you're not trying to be great at anything. You're trying to maintain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that also scares me too, because I've came across this where they kind of become a tower of knowledge as well. They don't really coach and mentor to bring others through some sort of ranks to protect that sustainability just within, so nothing upsets the apple cart.
Yeah, like that's one thing too on a little bit of a different subject, but I think it's important to this point is like if you think about our coaches and how many people they get to affect in a way that makes them better, and them is the people that they're training or helping. That's a completely different thing than the average manager who's just trying to maintain. It's way more fulfilling to make other people better, make other people's lives better than to just maintain your own. Because invariably you start playing not to lose instead of playing to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the biggest light bulb moments I had coming to work for you is when I started with a store. I started seeing this thing that happened over and over and over again. And like when a store starts with us, a lot of times you have the owner that is like, hey, here's my service manager, Bobby, or whoever it is. I'm not sure if Bobby's the guy. Do you think Bobby's the guy? And we always tell them the same thing, like, give us Bobby. Like, most of the time we're successful with them. And having those conversations, like, the owner almost always says, or GM or somebody on the executive team, they're like, I'm not sure that Bobby's the guy. And they're like, hey, I really like Bobby. He's the first one here. He's the last one to leave. Like all that stuff, but he stays busy with all the wrong stuff and I don't know what to do about it. And it's super frustrating to me, but I really like him. Mm-hmm. And then I'll go to Bobby and Bobby will say something to the effect of like, hey, I really like working for these owners. They're a great family. But I'm the first one to get here. I'm the last one to leave. And I feel underappreciated. And I work really hard and I don't think anybody appreciates it. Like, you got to get out of your own way. You got to have the understanding that your bosses, your executive team, your customers are basing you on how your team performs, not on how hard you work. And it's a tough thing to come into a leadership position,
especially if your identity
and have that realization. Yeah. And if this is the end of the road and there's nothing bigger than that and all that stuff, it forces you into this weird world of maintaining. And but you have to get out of that. You have to have some way to view yourself differently, to be able to see past that a little bit.
It's funny you say that, Hogi, because that I think can be painted on a broad brush in almost any sort of business, right? I put in all this hard work and effort. Nobody sees it. It's like, okay, but how effective are you at driving the results with your time? Because you think about it, if you had to put bookends into it, 4 or 5 hours, and how effective you are in that 4 to 5 hours, you're turning results. Maybe you don't need to be there at 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. closing up or whatever, right? Like if you can be more effective in driving to those results. And it is a mindset.
True.
Yeah. And so then the other part of that is that same dealer that asks you what you think of Bobby isn't sharing the financial with Bobby. Bobby doesn't know what the real goal is. There's no clear expectations, right? So that's number 2 is having clear expectations and intention about what you're doing. Most service managers fail because they're trying to maintain. They're not headed towards any sort of goal. They aren't driving everybody towards a mission. There's no clear outcome or intention with what we're trying to do. Yeah. And once Bobby has a clear intention and understands where the leverage is and how to read a financial, how to create profit, it completely changes the dynamic there. Yeah. Because we start getting results and then it's not about Bobby anymore. Mm-hmm. The problem with that scenario is it's about Bobby. Mm-hmm. It should be about the business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, clear standards and expectations, focused on the outcome. It is funny, there's an exercise we do with clients that's called missed stops, where we're just looking at CPROs and looking at missed opportunities on those tickets. And it's funny because when you first start with a client, if you ask them how they feel they're doing on maintenance, everybody feels they're like, the standard answer to that question is, we could do better, but we do pretty good. And then we'll go review 25 ROs and they're 95% neglected on offering the maintenance that was due on that vehicle. So it's got to be facts over feelings, like having clear standards and expectations. A piece of that is understanding, having feedback loops or looking at your CPROs, being in the service drive and listening to customers, downloading the reality of what's happening. You can feel like you do a pretty good job, but if there's cars out the door at 7:00 in the morning and customers are upset, your customers are telling you it's not. You got to listen to that. If the RO says you're 95% neglected on maintenance, you're not doing a pretty good job.
My favorite is the Hunter alignment check machines, because they invariably, either the dealer or the manager will be like, oh, we got the Hunter quick check. What is it called? Whatever. The drive over thing. Mm. So, and then you look at how many alignments they sell, and they're not selling any alignments, but they got the machine. Yeah. And you're like, what are we doing? Yep. Yeah. We don't need the machine to sell alignments. We need the intention to sell alignments.
Yeah.
the clients we have that sell the most alignments don't have a alignment machine, but there's this thing in our head, especially dudes. Like we like stuff.
Yeah.
We like technology. Yeah. But the real thing is why don't you like the outcome, the goal? Like the intention. It's funny. I mean, I wish I had $1 for every time. Oh, they're like, oh, we got the alignment.
The standard thing with that is,
how many you sold? 12.
Yeah.
Well, so
in a month,
and there's a stack of
and
printouts
7
on
of
the
them
printer.
are internal,
well, so I've got one for you.
or the printer doesn't work.
There's several truck dealerships that we'll go into, and they have a certain amount of bays, and you always ask them like, okay, so how many bays do you have? They're like, oh, we've got 12. Okay, how many are working? And it's like, well, let me see. So you go walk through, it's like 7 or 8. You've got one cluttered with some special tools and some lifts. But the one that always gets me is, they have an alignment machine there. Okay, so how many alignments have you been able to sell or whatever through there, some of the business when you're doing some of the multi-point inspections? And like, well, actually, it doesn't work. So they've tied up a bay with an alignment machine. It's a bigger piece of equipment. Okay, so how much would it cost? Probably not all that much. So when we get it fixed within that week, all of a sudden, when we're following that type of process and offering it to a customer coming in, oh, Adam, we've just increased, just in the month alone, 8 to 10 grand by just doing that thing. It's like, guys, you see it, like trucks are heavy equipment. I mean, they're always tested every day. There's no way you can't be selling that stuff when the stuff works.
Yeah, it's funny. Car service managers wouldn't understand this, but truck service departments don't sell tires. They don't stock them. They don't have, they're not in that business. They they literally want that business to go somewhere else. They don't want it, which is nuts. Absolutely nuts. I've literally almost got my ASS beat by somebody because I suggested. They've literally asked me, how could we get our sales up? And the Goodyear down the street's killing us because they do an oil change for $350 or whatever. And I'm like, well, why don't we start doing tires? We do not sell tires. I'm like, whoa. It's like I called your mother-in-law ugly or something. Like, what? We do not want to make money is what I heard.
Well, I'd also say,
weren't you there for that?
I was there for that. And I'm recalling our conversation. I think even if we were selling tires, I don't know if they were able to turn the vehicles fast enough in there either. But
that's a different answer, Adam.
Yeah.
If you said, well, I don't know how we would do that, or I don't know if we're set up for that, is way different than I will never ride in a Waymo. I won't.
Don't say never. Never's a long time.
That's one I feel pretty good about saying never. But I wouldn't say I'd never sell tires. Yeah, I'd want to know more about it. How would that work?
See, and that's
because they're letting that go.
Yeah. I mean, but that goes back to the first one in that mindset. It wasn't even curious or curiosity and to think it was possible. It was just shut down. Tires.
Yeah. Okay. Number 3 on the reasons why service managers fail: lack of process and discipline. I will tell you guys, early on when I started fixing service departments, it became very clear to me that the most important thing, and it's an interview question I ask people when I interview for coaches or service manager or anything, I'll say, what's the recipe to a turnaround? And if the first thing they say is people, they're not getting hired, because it's process. It's systems and process. If you think that people are the most important thing, you're probably underperforming. You are underperforming.
Yeah.
It's the process, and then you put good people in, but you will kill good people if you have bad processes.
I really appreciate making that point, because I feel that outside in our current environment, that is always misconstrued. Folks always want to start with, it's about the people, it's about the people. Well, in any business, you can put great people in there and just spit them out, chew them up, spit them out without that process.
Okay, so let's just do a little dive into human psychology and the flaws in humans, right? So if Hogi's daughter is up on stage in front of an audience singing, and she's not that good, even though we know she is good, but she's not that good. What is Hogi gonna say?
Bust.
the best performance. She's the songbird of our generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the truth, by the way.
And let's say that there's a Bears game going on and the ref makes a questionable call.
Which has happened.
And the coach challenges it and they uphold that call. What is Adam going to say?
That they were all.
It's a Bears game and the call goes against the Bears.
Yeah.
And they review it on replay. Yeah. What is Adam going to say?
That
it's fixed.
Yeah.
It's fixed.
Yeah.
So as humans, it's very easy for us to be biased, correct?
Sure.
Would we agree with that?
For sure.
The biggest bias humans have is being humans. That we think people are the most important. There's a great book out there. We did a book report on it called The Person or the Situation, or The Person and the Situation, which just goes through how basically in every situation, the environment, everything else matters more than the person, but we attribute it to the person. And they start off with the analogy of the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And that your success in the NFL has way more to do with where you get drafted than how good of a player you are.
Yeah.
And there's countless examples of that, because what is it like? Half the people that go in the first round aren't playing in 2 years.
Dude, come on, man. Like, this is where you can insert the Bears. Is we take good draft picks and chew them up and spit them out, and they go somewhere else.
Well, I told you that about the Bears. I go, it's not the quarterback.
Yeah.
You don't need to draft another first round, like top of the heap quarterback. It's the system.
Yep.
It's the coaches.
Yep.
They're burning those kids out.
Yep.
Yep.
And that is, you can definitely see that can contribute to the coaching.
Sam
the
Darnold's an
systems.
example of
Yeah.
that. It's the system.
Yeah.
It's the system. Like defense and running the ball makes a quarterback look really good.
Yeah.
So businesses, we'll say car, truck, doesn't matter. It's all the same. It's about the systems.
Yeah, if you think you're going to get lucky because you're drafting the top of anything and your systems suck, you're going to burn that first round pick out. And that's just how it works. And so, number 3 is it's process over anything else. Number 4 is managing by emotion instead of managing by the numbers. It's, you'll tell me all day how you feel. Like you feel good because you have an alignment check machine in the drive, but you're not selling any alignments. And so, a real leader will focus on the actual results, even if it hurts. A real leader will be posting the times that the text flagged the day before in the shop, even if in the beginning it's a little uncomfortable and you get a little bit of pushback, right? But at the end of the day, it's not about feelings, it's about outcomes. And the truth of the matter is in my experience, most people disguise the feelings thing as being more important than it really is, because in the long run, if you really care about people, you will set them up for success. An example would be being a parent. Yeah, you want your kids to like you, which isn't your job. A parent's job is not for your kids to like you. But I think if you're a good parent, they will like you. But I want them to respect you is what I want. But you let your kids do whatever they want because you want to be liked in the moment, and then your kids turn out terrible. That's not good parenting.
It's reflection,
right?
Of you, for sure.
But having disciplined kids, doing the thing that isn't comfortable in the moment, telling your kids the truth, not always like, comforting them when they messed up. You tell them they messed up. You tell them the truth. Real life stuff sets them up for success later on. Discipline sets them up for success later on. And not letting them go to the concert when they're 14 with 18-year-olds or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing with being a leader in a car dealership or on a sports team or anything, is it's about the mission, it's about the outcome, and not about the emotions. And we already established that humans are biased, but the number one driver of all humans is to be liked. We want to be liked. We feel safe when we're liked. We want approval and acceptance more than anything else in the world. And unfortunately, that makes you an employee. If you want to be a manager or a leader, it isn't about being liked. It's about setting people up for success. And I mean, the best example of this that I have is I had my used car department was an absolute disaster. And so I went out and I found a new manager, and this new manager, was really good, but he held everybody accountable. Like he backstopped every deal. He was in on everything. He was making everybody do their follow-up. He was holding them accountable. And I came into work one morning and I think it was like 4 of the sales people, and there were only 8 over there in the used car department. Like half of them were sitting there and they're like, "We want to talk to you, boss." So I'm like, "Okay, come on in." We close the door and they're like, "We're going to quit this guy. He's in a, we know what we're doing. We've been here forever." And this whole long thing about, basically you could just sum it up of, we don't want a process and we don't want to be held accountable. And we want things to be the way that they were, understanding that the reason why the new manager was there is because the results weren't there. Like you have to change behavior to change outcomes. And those same 4 salespeople 3 weeks later came in my office and they go, "We love him. He's the best."
Yeah.
You know what happened between then, when they first came in, and the 3 weeks later? You know what happened? The difference? They got their paycheck. They made more money. That's leadership, right? And so being liked, and it isn't one and the same. Now, if you're really good at it, you can have both, but you can't prioritize being liked over the actual result.
Yeah, the standard's the standard. And it goes back to systems a little bit. And if you have systems and there's clarity as to what the thing is that has to happen, that's going to happen, then it makes it easier to hold people accountable to that thing. And it helps takes the emotions out of it, right? Like, but that's an interesting thing. And like from the outside looking in, one thing that's interesting when you go places is, good leadership isn't the common thing, but when it's already there, you can hear it when you talk to the employees. Cause, like I always ask, like, "Hey, what's Bobby like," or whatever. And when you get the answer that, "Man, Bobby's really tough," like he's really tough, but we've gotten a lot better. Like you'll get some answer like that. It's a telltale sign of good leadership that like, and you can hear it when they're talking to new employees and stuff like that. Like when there's good leadership and they're held to the standard, and that's the thing, is the system that we're executing on is just the thing that's going to happen, and they're held accountable to that. You see your culture start to grow, because when new people come on the team, they're telling the new people like, "Hey, don't do that. Bobby's going to be all over you.
Yep.
Like, just take it from me." And then if they still don't do it, then the thing happens and they're like, "Hey, I told you so." Like it's not intuitive, but I think we live in a world where like we talk about how great it is to live in a democracy and we have freedom and we have all these things. And that's great. And United States is the greatest social experiment in the history of the world. But it's not your business. Like the service advisors don't vote the service manager into office. No. Right? Like there's a leader put in place to lead the,
Yeah, that's a good point.
And so this thing of like, I want to get their buy-in. That's another telltale sign that you're not like
anybody.
Why do I want their buy-in?
I want to get their buy-in. You're in for a long day.
Yeah. You might as well just come out and say that it's more important that they like me than the results.
Yeah.
You might as well just say that.
No, what you want to do is remind them of the business we're in and then drive towards an outcome. And if they're there for the right reasons, they will buy in automatically. But unfortunately, if we're having this conversation, you probably don't have the right team, and you're trying to get the buy-in from the lowest common denominators. Yep.
That's fair.
Now, there's a saying.
There's one thing.
The monkeys have the key to the zoo.
There's one thing that I know that we have encountered in previous years. There are some service managers that have gone through that natural progression. And when we talk about numbers, they know that there's numbers there, but they don't know what levers to pull and how the numbers are made up. So like I would throw out there that if you are a service manager that's been doing it for, we came across some folks 10, 15 years. And when we go through like what that hour of labor means to them, it's like tears because someone's actually shown them the light. So I think we'd be remiss to say, like, if you haven't asked for a financial, ask for a financial. start going through some of the numbers, and like it's okay to be a little vulnerable and just saying I don't know what some of these numbers are held to, even if you've been in the role for some time. Because I would say that what I've witnessed is the respect level from upper management by just asking some of those. But I think we've witnessed some of those light bulb moments, and it's like, man, no one's really helped me kind of show me the way on some of those cases. I know I've seen that a lot more on the probably on the truck side due to, you know, my exposure on that side. But man, there's nothing more like humbling and just a little humility on just saying, okay, like you don't know, but we're going to get there, so that they can drive to the numbers more than the emotion. Because I feel like they've had them in a way, have had it driven with emotion versus the numbers, if they're willing to do so, right?
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to what we were talking about of like them staying busy with the wrong stuff. If you don't know, you're going to go back to what you do know, and then you're trying to do it all on your own and all that stuff.
Number 5 on the 9 reasons why service managers fail is weak hiring and talent management. And I think you can just sum this up by saying you don't see yourself as a collector of talent.
Yeah.
You see yourself as a manager of what is there. You should always be upgrading your team. You should always be looking for more talent. You should be always training, working with, you know, we see this too many times where we'll go into a dealer group and they'll own 20 stores and a manager will leave and there's no bench. There's no bench. We got to go 20 stores and we got to go outside to hire a manager.
Yeah.
No bench.
Yeah.
It's the curating and growing and recruiting of talent. You're a people collector.
And if the things we're talking about, like if you feel like we're talking to you and you realize you don't have those, what you don't have is a culture. When you do all of these things and these behaviors are happening, that's culture, and that's another conversation. But when you have those things, you have culture. If you don't have it, you don't have culture. And the fastest way to improve culture is with the next person that you hire.
Yep.
For sure. Number 6, avoiding conflict and accountability. Oh, man, I run into this all the time with trying to make things look better than they are, look at the numbers better than they are, avoid tough conversations, avoid calling the person you got to call because you know they're upset. It's, the problem with that sort of mindset is if you're the type of person who avoids confrontation, avoids difficult conversation, is you're probably not learning anything.
Yeah.
Because you learn the most by stepping into the chaos. Like you learn what's broken in your systems, you learn what's failing, you learn how people actually really feel about things. And the more honest you are about the numbers, it's like when we were talking about the shop foreman thing and how like they've come up with these numbers like proficiency and efficiency and to make themselves feel better. And it's like, no, there's 8 hours in a day. What did we fly? Like, we don't need to look through the rose-colored glasses to feel good.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be so insecure that the truth is paralyzing. Like the truth is the truth. You want to step into it.
Looking at financials,
set you free.
It amazes me how often I have to answer the question, like, hey, what's your total overall whatever? And they're like, including Quick Lube? And I'm like, well,
yeah.
I
love that. They're like, they have 2 financial
like, so we're just gonna,
we're gonna
leave this over here so we feel,
and this one makes 75. And at the end of the day, they're breaking even, but they want to talk about the one making 75. Yeah. And somehow those aren't techs or customers or advisors.
Yeah, like so give yourself permission as a leader to not make compromises. When you define a system and you define a standard, it's okay to hold people to that standard. And like if you find yourself making a lot of compromises and looking at that advisor and you see the walk around not happening, you see the menu presentation not happen, the multi-point not happen, and whatever it is, like if you see it, say something about it, like address it. Every time you make those compromises, it's a detriment to your outcome. You got to give yourself the permission to be a leader. And when the thing's not happening, you call it out 100% of the time.
That's a death by 1,000 cuts for sure when you allow that to happen.
Yeah, and I would say, like, you can kind of probably say this better than me because I'm talking about myself here, but I go right for it. Like, if somebody says something or I've heard something about somebody, I just call that person. I'm not I'm not looking for 25 different opinions.
Yeah, you do.
Let's just get right to it. Like, okay, like, what's going on? Like, it's just, I don't have the time.
Yeah.
I don't have the time to wait and hear another opinion, then let it get worse or whatever. I just go right at it.
Yeah.
Like, and it works. Like I feel like not only is it more effective, I sleep better at night because I don't want to worry about stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Number 7 is poor time management and prioritization. I've thought for a long time that all of these time management books are treating the symptom, not the cause. Your time management is directly in relation to your priorities and intention. And I'll just give you an abstract example is if this building caught on fire, my priorities would be to get out of this building and I would get out of here as quick as I could. If my priority is to be number 1 in CSI or my priority is to be 40% net to gross and I'm really committed to that, my time management will take care of itself. Because throughout the day, I will realize these things are getting me further from my goal and this is getting me closer to my goal. And I'm going to spend more time on the stuff that gets me closer to my goal and not the other stuff. And time management will, in a way, take care of itself if you have clear priorities, right? Like I set up my schedule that I have meetings on certain days, I do things on other days, but I'm not leaving it to chance. It's intentional. I'm not just like waking up Monday morning and going, well, let's see how the week goes. It's very planned out and it's aligned with what it is that I'm trying to get done, you know, at this point in life. So really having priorities and being intentional about what you're trying to do versus indifferent. But most people have goals, but they're really indifferent about the goals. If they don't hit their goals, they just start making excuses. They don't get upset enough to change their behavior. And unfortunately, that's most of society.
Yeah.
They'll make a goal and then, well, I mean, okay, so right there at the end of December at the gym, I couldn't find a parking spot. Last week, just about every day, I pulled right up front. Yep. Like there were a bunch of people that had goals to join a gym and go, and it's like, you know, we're a couple months
February.
in, and here we are. Yeah. They weren't intentional.
I think it goes back to they tried.
Well, yeah, but they're gonna say, "Oh, I have to work or this or you know," they'll make a million excuses, but I'm there. Like I go to bed early. I eat different. Like I'm not. If you invite me to go out partying on a Sunday or a Monday I'm not going because I got to be at work. Like I'm intentional about what it is I'm doing. And the other part of that is even like it's not a question of whether I go to the gym or not. Like I'm at the gym this morning, like setting up my day because if I can do that extra set, then when things get tough at work, I can do that too. Like it's setting up my character in a way.
Yeah.
You know, and that to me is more like I'm beyond whether I show up or not.
Yeah. You know what feeds right into that too is a lesson I learned from you years and years and years ago is there was a group of us talking about at a coaching meeting talking about work-life balance. And like how
I love that.
How do I get work-life balance?
Let's do an episode about that.
And like the thing is
episode.
when you're so focused on a goal and you have so much intentionality, you become more effective. When you become more effective, all of a sudden I don't have to be the first one in the building and the last one out because I'm really effective when I'm there. Like work-life balance is really you're just saying you're not effective.
No, like I'll do something. I was going to say this earlier, but I'll do something where I don't show up. And what do you think happens?
Nothing.
Well, I mean, I'm measuring what happens when I'm not there.
Yeah.
But what does that tell me? Like I've felt pretty good lately when I don't show up. Things are still moving, and like Mike's doing a really good job of driving stuff.
Yeah, there's intentionality.
But if I was here, I wouldn't know.
the difference.
And also, like, is it me or is it the team? Like, I want it to be the team. I don't want it to be me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so just try not showing up and watch how things get done. If they don't get done, you got some work to do. You need to train, you need to, I think about this, and it's a little abstract, but I really think it's a good point, is when I was a service advisor, I had no idea what the financials of a service department were. I had no idea what the numbers were that I was judged on. Like, the manager told me if I dropped below 2.5 hours per hour, I would be fired and have to go back to the wash rack. But nobody could tell me how to calculate hours per row. If somebody would have taught me the financial statements and what gross is and profit, and when I discount what it does and all that, would I have been a candidate to be a manager there? Like, I would have, my behavior would have changed. My thought process would have changed. My overall view of everything would have changed. But instead, it was all a secret. Everything was a secret, and it was this top-down, do this thing, but you don't get to know what the thing really means. And you kind of feel gaslit in a lot of ways, and so that's, real leadership and growing a team is explaining to them why we're doing the things that we're doing. And then you don't have to worry about buy-in because it's just black and white. Like, we do this, we lose money. We do that, we make money. It's common sense that you don't want to lose money. No, it would be rare that anybody would work in your business and go, yeah, we should lose money. But what invariably happens is we don't tell them we're losing money. And then we get passive aggressive and start taking away the car wash and the unit. Like, we start cutting all this stuff, but they really never were given the chance to
help make it
do
successful.
it the other way, right? Like, it's always by deduction instead of by opportunity. Like, the thing that I like to do is I like to present everybody with the opportunity and go, hey, do we want to go after this, or do we want to deduct? Do we want to cut, or do we want to see what we're capable of and see if we can do something bigger? And if everybody participates in that thing, it's a win-win in that way. Number 8, not understanding the financials. So many managers are chasing gross, not profit. Oftentimes they don't even understand what it is.
And like, we talk about this in when new clients sign on to our coaching program. We have a boot camp, and they come to LA, and one of the key things we go over is how to understand. Basically, one of the goals that we have for our coaching clients is to make a little better business person of the service manager. And I always kind of start off that section with saying, like, I'm not a certified public accountant, and my goal isn't to make you a certified public accountant, but there is a basic understanding of the financials. You don't have to get too in depth. You can have a basic understanding of them and use them to make great business decisions, for your department. But it's always kind of no matter how many times we see it, kind of like you were talking about, I'm still taken back by the person that sees the financials for the first time, and they've been working there for a long time, like you said, and realize they're losing money. And it's not.
You feel bad for them that no one's really been able to show them the light, but it's great when we give them that opportunity to kind of see that. Now they can make educated decisions, because no one comes to work, I don't care where you're at, and say, I want to lose or I want to suck today.
Yeah. Well, business is about leverage, and money's moving around all over the place. And it's the most true in a service department, probably more than a lot of other businesses. Like, how many other businesses would kill for the amount of opportunity that's flowing through a service department every day?
For sure.
Nuts.
Like, and understanding where that leverage is, it's just a basic... It's really some basic math to understand the financial in a way that where the leverage is, so you can drive your department to the profitability.
And you can bring your teams along for that journey and that pathway to success. Right. So you don't need to get consensus if you're bringing them along and educating them the same way. Don't leave them behind.
And then the last one, and it kind of feeds into my story of how I learned the financials. So I traded a consulting company my services. So I did advisor training for them for free for them to teach me the financials, because I knew that understanding the financials was the thing that would make me better than everybody else, because nobody seemed to understand the financials.
Yeah.
When I would ask people to explain it to me, even general managers that I worked for would go, well, I don't understand service. And they'll be like, I can tell you about sales, but I can't tell you about service. And nobody understood the financials. And so I traded my services to learn that. And then the last one is number 9, is most service managers fail to invest in themselves and to constantly improve and learn. And, we purposely price, like we have on demand, which is a couple $100 a month, where you can learn all of this stuff we're talking about. But it's very rare that a service manager will invest $250 a month in themselves, which is nuts. If you looked at how much I spend on myself, I mean, I've spent millions of dollars in training in all different, things. Like I've learned psychology. I've learned how people, function in the CIA and the FBI. I've learned about art. I've learned about business. I've learned about math. I've learned about, you can just look around this library at the different subjects that we have and how many things that I've tried to figure out or tried to understand. And what's always fascinating to me is that people think that the thing they're doing is unique and different. Like people think like, oh, I work in a hotel, so there's no books out there about hotels, so it is what it is, or what. Like it's all connected. It's all connected. Like humans are humans. Like people will say, well, you don't understand, Chris, it's different here in Canada. I'm like, what? In Canada, people don't want to be greeted in a nice way. They don't want to smile. They don't want to feel like they were taken care of. It's different in Canada? No, people are the same everywhere. They want to get value for their money. They want to feel like they matter and they're respected, and they want it done in a way that isn't painful, and they don't have to make a lot of decisions. That's what people want everywhere. It doesn't matter. And so to think that, because we work in automotive, that it's different than hotels or restaurants or, any other kind of business it's insanity. Like you can pick something up from everywhere. You can learn. But the commonality is systems and humans. And humans behave the same in just about every walk of life in that way. And so, really learning and investing in yourself, like reading books, going to classes, that sort of thing. Like I've flown all over the world to hear people speak or to go to different workshops and learn. And I continue to do that constantly, because I always want to be learning. And then invariably that I will learn something that is connected to something else. The older I get, the more I'm just connecting dots.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like it is about connecting dots.
Yeah. I think that a great illustration of that, or like as you were just thinking about investing in yourself, is invest in your team too. Like I start thinking about our team and the book reports we're always doing on the coaching team. And so many of us can tell stories over books we were reading that changed us as a coach from lessons we learned in that. And like one for me was the Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Like it changed the way I go into a store now and how I see it and how open I am to just asking questions and letting the information come. Like I could go on and on and on about that, but invest in yourself personally and in your team. Be doing things that help, open them up.
I almost sent you guys this, but I sent this to a couple people one was I sent it to Chase, but there's this interview that Rick Rubin does with George Saunders. So George Saunders is an author. I had never heard of him. This is like listening to Bill Belichick talk about the what's the guy who hikes to the kicker?
The long snapper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listening to Belichick talk about the long snapper.
Yeah.
And it applies to life. Like, just if you go to YouTube and pull up Rick Rubin and George Saunders, and it's just Rick and George sitting in the grass in Malibu at Rick Rubin's place, and listen to this conversation. It's 2 hours long, and you would think, well, I'm not a writer or I'm not an artist. But everything they're talking about is process and systems. Like, he's talking about his process for writing and his approach and the things that he's learned over time. And it's no different than anything out there. The difference is the intentionality to get better and to learn. And he's a teacher. So he is a professor at college, and he's teaching creativity and writing. And he talks about, that too, like how to teach and how people learn. And it's just fascinating. And he asks Rick questions, and it's such a great conversation. Mm-hmm. But most people would say, well, I'm not a writer. What could I learn from a writer? And it's like, you can learn something from everybody. Like, that's also another thing, like just in wrapping this up, and I know we've been going a while, is there's this thing that I've noticed about humans is, like, the first thing that people do a lot is they try to figure out where they are in the hierarchy, right? And what makes people really feel good, especially people that are insecure, is to feel like they're at the top of the hierarchy, right? To feel like they're the smartest person in the room, or they're the best in the room, or the most talented in the room. And I started paying attention to this because a friend of mine was telling me about this Andrew Tate video where Andrew Tate said, whenever two guys meet, even if it's unconscious, they're sizing each other up to see who would win in a fight. And then it's, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't watch Andrew Tate and I don't get it. But basically the premise was that it's ingrained in us to size up another man and figure out if we could beat them in a fight. Like, if you and I meet and we're strangers, that we're wired to do that. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm very in tune with my unconscious mind. I never meet anybody and worry about whether I can beat them up or first of all, if you've lived as long as I've lived, you realize that the biggest guys are usually the biggest wimps. A little guy will surprise you, right? Like, I in his prime, I was in a club with Oscar De La Hoya, who is tiny. Wouldn't pick a fight with him because he's I know lots of little guys that I wouldn't want to fight because their technique is so good. They're so fast. It just would not be fun. Like, even if I sat on them, they'd figure out a way, right? And so the thing that, you learn is that there's contradictions. The biggest guy isn't the toughest guy. The smallest guy isn't the weakest guy. Right. Like, you stop looking at life that way, and you stop wanting to be superior. But the point that I'm trying to make with all of this is it isn't about being the smartest guy in the room. Mm-hmm. It's not about being the best in the room. It's about what can you learn from everybody else in the room and who else is in the room. Mm-hmm. And so you can learn something from everybody. Everybody knows something that you don't know. If you think about all the knowledge out there in the world and how much we really know, which is very little, and it's limited by our experience, by our access. Like, you think about somebody who's lived in one town for their whole life, never traveled, never gone outside of their two interests or whatever it is, and they're still talking about the good old days when they played high school football. Like, that's a pretty limited perspective. And even that person knows something I don't know, but they're pretty limited in their, in their scope of wanting to learn. Mm-hmm. And so, I just think you can learn in any situation, but it takes a change in perspective. Is you got to be the one asking the questions. You got to be the one that's curious, and you can't shut it down by saying, well, this is good enough, or we know enough, or we got this figured out. Like, nobody successful that I know ever thinks they have it figured out. They never stop learning and practicing. They never stop trying to find out things from others, you know, and yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, you've never arrived. You're never the smartest. You're never the best. And even if you are, somebody's going to come along and knock you off. Like, that isn't the mission. The mission is to learn and to understand and contribute to others. And you can't contribute to others if it's just about you and you're closed off. It's got to be about curiosity and learning and, you know, figuring things out. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like, I went and saw a thing at LACMA, and I'm taking everybody there on Tuesday from the office because I want them to see this thing that I saw and have this experience. And I was in this room, and all I was doing is taking pictures, trying to practice taking pictures because my cousins were over at the Peterson Museum and I've seen it, so I didn't want to walk through it. And I walk into this room, and there's this, you know, art installation from this artist, and it's grass. Like, it has grass, and then he's got this pottery coming out of this grass. And there was this lady there, and I was kind of taken by the piece. I was like, oh, this is interesting. But what happened, as soon as I walked in the room, I smelled the grass. And I was like, oh, wow, like, this is unique. You usually, in an art gallery, aren't hit with a smell, but it's real grass that, you know, is really putting off a scent. And the lady's, you know, standing there, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. And she's getting emotional, and she's like, I'm from South Africa, and this reminds me of home, is what she said.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, like, there was just something in that room that I can't describe in words, but I want everybody, you know, I want everybody to see that, because the more our team experiences things that you can't put into words, the better our stuff gets, you know?
Yeah.
It isn't an accident that our stuff looks as good as it does and sounds as good, you know, and that we're doing 2 different channels, and the guests that we're getting for Books That Changed My Life and all that all comes from that curiosity and the, you know, that wanting to learn, not wanting to be better. We don't want to dominate anybody or be superior to anybody. We want to collaborate. And that's really what leadership is about collaborating and inviting people to go on a mission to a better place, and the discovery and the process along the way. The process along the way and what you learn with your team is way more fun than the destination.
Yeah.
Way more fun than the destination.
Yeah.
I mean, I guarantee if we're sitting here with Bill Gates or anybody, he would be more excited to talk about those early days in New Mexico when he quit Harvard and there were 5 of them in a room working 24 hours a day than he would about what he does now. He doesn't know what to do now. Completely different. Well, he's probably pretty busy answering questions from Epstein and all that, but replace Bill Gates with somebody else. Like, it's about a team of people and going after a mission and inviting them to something better that is the real fulfillment, and, you know, what belonging really is, instead of being the one that's liked or being the one that's safe, playing it safe. So that's a long-winded thing, but there's a lot of gold in there.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts, Adam?
I would just say, summing this all up, just practice. You know, anything that you pick up, just go and practice. Like, I don't want to sound hokey and say dare to try, but just go and practice some of these things to see what works. Continuous improvement has just been key, and I like how but we go into certain situations, we say, I don't want to be right, we just want to win, and I think that's what this all is.
It's good. Awesome. Well, thanks, you guys, for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.